Greetings and welcome to Growth Hacking Secrets. I'm your host, Muhammad Siddique from Atlanta, Georgia, and the co author of New Success Secrets, available on Amazon. On this episode, we have a special guest, Lauren Young. Lauren is the host of Strictly Serotonin podcast. Excuse me, please join me to give a warm welcome to our guest, Lauren Young. Lauren, welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you. Lauren, let me start with this. You are an undergrad at a college right now as a freshman, is that right? You mentioned?
Correct. I'm a freshman in college, yes.
Yeah. So you just, for someone who doesn't know freshman, she just got into a college. That's like, same way.
Yeah.
So while you are getting into a college and you started the podcast, that intrigued me to actually outreach to you, see how a young person like Lauren is speaking with the guests and trying to learn from others and connecting and try to create their passion. So here is my question. Where were you? What happened? Who you were surrounded with that inspired you to get started with your podcast, Strictly Serotonin?
Yeah, of course. So I've always just been kind of a person that likes to share my opinion on things. I talk a lot. And specifically over like quarantine back in March, I was home. I was still in high school. So everything was online. And I've always been interested in social media. I've watched YouTube for years, Instagram, all of that. And I really got into listening to podcasts because I was working over the summer and I was able to just listen to them while I was working. And I thought about it and I was like, you know what? I know that there's something out there for me. I don't know what it is yet, but I've been listening to these podcasts and I've enjoyed them. So I was like, why not start it on my own? I'm always inspired by young people, especially again on social media. There's a lot of young people who've really reached out to other people. And I know that there's things that I like to talk about. And so I thought, why not share them to other people so that way they can hear them as well. So yeah, I got the idea again, like I said, back in March. I didn't really start doing anything with it until October. And by that time I was in college. And then it took me a few months. I wanted to do it really on my own just to see kind of how I could grow through it. And so about 3 months later, I launched my first episode. And it's only been about 3 weeks. So yeah, pretty early on so far.
So if someone like me who doesn't know what Strictly Serotonin is, can you tell us a little more about the topic?
Yeah. So serotonin is a neurotransmitter in your brain and it affects your mood. And so I have this thing with energy drinks. I just love energy drinks for some reason. Even though I don't think they always give me energy, I just like to drink them just because. And so I kind of linked energy drinks with serotonin for that reason. And randomly one day I was like, serotonin, what can I do with that? And I thought oh, strictly serotonin. Okay. Because I want to keep it kind of happy. I mean, obviously there's pros and cons to everything, but I don't always just want to be completely positive and making things seem like they're better than they are. But yeah, just the realities of what I'm going through is what I want to share basically. And so I thought serotonin went pretty well with that. So yeah.
Yeah, no, great. So I'm now at least people who are watching this, they got to know that how you came from the energy drinks. So
yeah.
It gives the impression of a false energy when you drink it,
Right, it does. Yeah. Whether or not it gives you serotonin, I don't know, but
yeah. If nothing else, you get a lot of sugar, so.
True. Well, here's the thing. I love sugar-free ones. I only drink sugar-free.
Okay, that's good.
Because I'm scared to drink sugar. So yeah, but the ones that have sugar have a lot, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So Lauren, so you just started with this one. So what are your top 3 missteps to avoid for someone who is thinking to start something?
Yeah, of course. So I think one of the things, and I've definitely gone through this, is waiting for the perfect time. Because it's never going to come. At the end of the day, there's always things going on in your life, especially when I started launching it, or even before that. Again, I was in college. I'm a full-time student. There's always things going on. And so I think just starting it and then learning from it and learning ways to improve is what I found to be the best. Another thing is focusing on other people's opinions. Especially on social media, people are going to give their opinion no matter what, even if you're doing everything correctly. And so I think it's important to just stick to what you know is best for yourself. And if it's something that you enjoy doing and you find passion in it, then why not? And another thing would be not reaching out and connecting with people. So again, I've kind of mentioned I am interested in entrepreneurship, and like it's cool that you've reached out to me because of that. And I found mentors, and there's so much online that you can learn. Like I did this whole podcast myself. I've done research, I've listened to YouTube videos, other podcasts about it. And I think it's really important to do that research. And that's one of the things that I found, like, if I didn't do that, I don't know if I could even get to be able to start doing my own podcast, because it's like I've been able to connect with people and learn from them. And so if I didn't do that, I wouldn't have this knowledge. So yeah. And of course, I'm always learning and growing. I just started this, so we'll see where the next year or so takes me. But yeah.
So you are always going solo, or you are actually connecting, having a guest on the show?
Yeah, so I've actually done a poll, and a lot of people want guests. And so I think it's cool because it kind of leads the conversation. It's easy to just forget what you're talking about when it's yourself. So I'm doing a like half and half. So far, I only have one guest episode out, but this coming week is going to be another guest episode. So yeah, I'm doing a little bit of both.
Wonderful. So how do you compare? Because you are a student, that's why my questions are relevant to your educational life. So you are learning at a college and online or in person, as in the past. So, and you are learning from the guest at the same time while you're bringing an experienced person and they're sharing their experiences and that one. How do you compare that both knowledge? One is a practical real life experiences and the other one, the academic knowledge mostly. Are you bridging that gap, or you see that they're disconnected?
Yeah, so the guests that I have so far have only been like my friends or family members, like people I've known. And so most of the things that we're talking about or planning on talking about relate to our experience in high school or college or just everyday life. Whereas obviously when I'm learning in school is much more in like the business world. And so there is a little bit of disconnect, but I feel like I've been able to kind of connect both of those and put them together and use them. Everyday knowledge is very important, obviously. And I think both of them can be used in everyday, especially in business and entrepreneurship. You can use both of them. So yeah, kind of connecting both of them, I think.
So what you want to do when you grow up?
I am changing that every single day. I really am. Recently, I've been interested in real estate, but I knew from when I first started working, like 2 years ago, I don't like the 9 to 5. I don't. And obviously, you can't always start by having your own business, but I think this is a good way to kind of incorporate that, because I feel like being in school is almost a pause button in my head. So it's like, well, what can I do to kind of expand that to maybe have something to lean back on eventually once I graduate? And so my first thought was like social media, a podcast. And, I haven't really made money from it yet, but it's just cool to kind of be able to start that and know that if it really becomes something, maybe it can become a full-time thing. So yeah, I don't know, just entrepreneur, I guess. Kind of general, but we'll see where it takes me. I don't know.
Understood. So Lauren, what are your top 3 success secrets in life so far?
Top 3 success. Well, specifically, I guess I'll talk for my podcast. Again, I already kind of mentioned this. I think connections are huge, like reaching out to people, because I've always thought, and I've heard this too, like reach out to the people that you want to be like. And, you're not going to ask opinions from someone or ask for advice from someone who's doing something that you don't want to do. I've always thought, like, reach out to those people, get their opinion. A lot of them really like to share because they've been in your spot before and they love to kind of share what they've learned along the way. Another thing is doing research about the field. I think, again, just reaching out to people and like searching up things, because you can really do anything from online. You can learn anything. And there's so many resources. Like again, podcasts is helpful. Audiobooks. I can't sit down and read a book. I can listen to a book though. And that's available online. And being real is another thing. I think it really is what attracts people, because there's a lot of things that are covered up on social media. I don't want to make it seem like my life is just like perfect and no one really thinks it is. But to see someone like going through the same experiences you're going through, especially during my age, like I'm 19, I just got out of high school, I'm in college, that kind of age. I think people really like to see that because they can connect with you. And I think that's really important to be successful online. So, yeah.
Wonderful. I love when you say outreach and connect with other people, who you want to be.
Yeah.
How do you feel when you get a no response at all? It doesn't give you a discouragement. Oh my God, I outreach 10 people, no one said yes to me. I don't think so. They don't
Yeah.
like it anymore.
Everyone that I've reached out to has got back to me. Most of them are people I've already known. Like one of them, the furthest that I didn't know was like my aunt knew someone who she worked with, who I emailed, and he got back to me. The biggest one is just a family that I have been friends with for a while. So yeah, it definitely can be discouraging though. I have a friend in college as well, and she's like trying to get research, and she's very qualified, but there's been several people who haven't gone back to her. And it's like nothing is wrong with you for that. It's just kind of how it is. And you have to just stick to what like you want to do. And at the end of the day, if it's meant to be, then it'll happen. So yeah, that's how I feel at least.
Yeah. Okay, wonderful. So tell us about your podcast a little more, so that way we can have people who are watching this right now, they can support you and follow you.
Yeah, so I've kind of already mentioned this a little bit, but kind of the background to it is my interest in entrepreneurship in social media. But really, I'm just trying to share experiences that I'm going through and get other people's opinions and kind of see how they've experienced things. So far, I've kind of talked about depression, anxiety, college, high school, things like that, just everyday life, really. But I'm trying to be as real as possible because I know people really appreciate that. So yeah, we'll see where it goes.
Yeah,
It'll
yeah,
be
definitely.
interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a great way to look at that. So, why who is your ideal guest on your podcast?
Well, I've run analytics, and most people listening are 18 to 25 females, but I've had like a wide range. Some high schoolers, so I would say like high school to college age. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
probably yeah.
they are listening, but who is your ideal guest who is coming and sharing on your platform?
I would say people who have been successful in things that they're like, who can share how
Yeah,
they've learned certain experiences.
who is your ideal guest on your podcast? Let's say someone want to be guest and share their experience. Who is your ideal guest? What type of good guest you are looking for?
Oh, maybe like an entrepreneur.
Okay.
I was kind of trying to say like someone who has been successful in their field and that they can share their opinion and like what they've learned from it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah. And what type of response you got so far from your analytics, looking at your numbers, downloads, and all
Yeah.
that?
What's been really cool is people who I haven't talked to in a while have like been DMing me and they've said, I think it's so cool that you've done this. Like, I'm going to keep listening to all your podcasts. It's just cool to get good feedback because obviously people liking your pictures and just listening doesn't really mean much unless you get that connection. And so it's been really cool to reconnect with people I haven't talked to in a while and see that things that I'm saying that they can connect to have really benefited them. So yeah, it's been really cool actually.
How do you plan to handle the negative feedback you're going to get from the podcast? And no, this sucks or whatever. There will be always opinion for everything.
Yeah. I mean, I think everything you go through is like a learning experience. And so at the end of the day, like I kind of said, just focusing too much on other people's opinions is a mistake that a lot of people make. And it's hard because obviously you want to be liked, you want people to enjoy your content, but not everyone is going to like you, and that's just how it is. And so I guess just trying to ignore it and just staying true to myself is the biggest thing that I'm trying to do. So yeah.
Yeah. So what you want to do is whenever there's a negative feedback, see if there is any sign to improve. If there's something you can
That's
improve,
true.
take it as a positive criticism, so that way constructive criticism. Everything else is just a noise. They are just trying to pull you down. Just go. That you don't even talk to them.
Yeah, and it's something within them too. Yeah. So I found also the biggest comebacks, I guess you could say, like for people who tear you down, is to be happy and to be successful. And so at the end of the day, if you are happy and you're working towards your goals, people are just going to be jealous of you, and that's nothing you can control. That's within them. So that's just how it is.
Yeah. So, Lauren, today you are a guest on a Growth Hacking Secrets show. And what would you say to your best friend about this show when I'm not there?
Well, I would really recommend it. I think it's cool that you're reaching out to so many different people. And it's just cool to see that even someone who has just started a podcast like me, that you've reached out to them. And it's cool to learn about entrepreneurship, anything in the business field, because it's always growing and always improving. So, yeah.
Thank you for your kind words. I appreciate it very much. Lauren, what would you say as the final word? We are wrapping up now.
Yeah, I would just say do what you're passionate about. Don't let other people's opinions influence you too much, because at the end of the day, it's your life and you got to do what makes you happiest.
Yeah, wonderful. Do just listen to Lauren Young. She said the right words.
Thank you.
Do what you're passionate about. It's your life
Yeah,
at the end.
yeah,
You are responsible for your own life, you know.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Lauren Young, for sharing your wisdom with us today on the behalf of Growth Hacking Secrets community and our entire team. We really appreciate you. This is Muhammad Siddique.
Thank you.
This is Muhammad Siddique signing off from Atlanta, Georgia. Until the next episode, all good wishes.